Hi guys, and welcome back to FPL Journey. As we can see from what's on the screen, I got 83 points. Game week 21, team did pretty well. My captaincy paid off with Haaland as captain. And yeah, everyone seemed to get good points. Really benefited from the clean sheet that Newcastle had because I've doubled up there. And yeah, the only real thing that hit me was the 0 points from Shaw, but I mean, that was always going to be a tough fixture with United playing Arsenal. So moving on to my thoughts for game week 23. Obviously, we have a double, and strategy is going to be really important as to how we play the bench boost, triple captain, and free hit. But here we can see the fixtures for game week 22, and as we can see, United play Crystal Palace and Leeds, and there's also a double for Leeds who play. Where's Leeds? Leeds. Um, Leeds. Leeds play Forest and then play United, obviously. I think that's the only two doubles from memory. But yeah, I think the main thing is everyone wants three United players. So in my view, City has Tottenham this week, so I'm thinking that's a pretty tough fixture. Swap De Bruyne out for Fernandes, and I think that's a good pick for this week. The other question is, do you triple captain Rashford? And I mean, there's a lot of people saying, yes, go on, triple captain him. I had thought I really want my triple captain to be Haaland. I was thinking about doing it next week, but Haaland is Aston Villa and Arsenal, and I mean, as we know, in those tougher games like Arsenal and the sides up and around the top of the table, they can often turn cagey, and not that many goals are often scored in the big games. But United are against two of the sides that have conceded the most goals and most XG. So as we can see here, they're playing Crystal Palace, who have conceded 27, and they're also playing Leeds, who have conceded 33. Now there's only like two other sides that have conceded more, and that's Bournemouth and 42 and Southampton and 35. So it looks good for Rashford and Fernandes to definitely score some goals. And yeah, because no one else has really conceded that many apart from Leicester, Bournemouth, and Southampton. But moving on to so what am I going to do? Transfers. So I've lots of thoughts here, and one thing that I was thinking of is I was thinking of going Almiron to Rodrigo, but do remember, guys, that Rodrigo has an injury and he could be out for quite a while. I have heard 2 weeks. I've also seen 2 months. So that's definitely one to think about not to bring in. But what I'm thinking is De Bruyne, and then bring in Fernandes. Fernandes. And then what I'm also thinking is, I'm not sure about Almiron. I'm thinking about transferring him out, but I mean, if I make the transfer this week, I won't have 2 free transfers next week anyway. So I'm thinking I'm going to have to take a hit because I'm going to want to get back De Bruyne next week for the double game week next week. But I'm also going to want to get in Ødegaard or Saka for the game week next week. I think purely because Ødegaard has been on top form, on top of the ratings. I think those are the 2 changes that I'm thinking of making. And then next week I'm going to revert back to from Fernandes back to De Bruyne. I feel like that's a smart choice. Now, after this change, I'll probably start half preparing for the double game week or for the blank game week in 25. So as you can see at the minute, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players there that will currently blank in 25. So whenever I bring Fernandes back, out and De Bruyne, that'll be 4, which means I will only have 1 player to substitute out. And at the minute, I have been thinking I'm going to need a defender. So we can see who's playing. I've looked up this. This is from Ben Crellin on Twitter. And I've looked up this, and there's possibilities of double game weeks on that actual 25. So it might actually be, if I have sorted a team where I have only 4 not playing, that I can just use my 1 free transfer to get a full playing 11 for that team. And then that'll allow me to roll right up until game week 28, 29, and I'll just be making transfers based on double game weeks and how things are going and injuries and things like that. But yeah, I mean, there's things that really need to be considered, and coming into the end of the season, we have Brighton and Hove Albion, which is this record here, and we can see that they have a lot of games left to play, and they're going to have a lot of doubles after the break. And I've also checked up on the transfer algorithm, and these guys are saying that don't know if you can see the full thing, but this line here is Brighton and Hove Albion, and as we can see, there's quite a bit after game week 26 of predictions of doubles along this file. So yeah, they do look like they've 2 blank game weeks, but after that, it could be very strongly going towards the likes of Marsh, guys like that who have been, and Matoma as well, who's been excellent recently, and was actually someone that I was nearly thinking of bringing in anyway, because Brighton do currently have 3 good fixtures coming up. So yeah, I mean, that's my thoughts at the minute. In fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to lock in these transfers now, confirm that -4 hit. I feel like it's worth it for an extra game, particularly whenever the extra game is Crystal Palace and Leeds. Now, how am I going to set up my side for this week? I feel like White against Everton probably is good. It diverts a little bit of risk. Should I play Mitrovic or Botman is a question. I mean, I'm always going to play Haaland. I'm going to make Rashford my captain. I'm going to make Fernandes my vice captain, and I might triple captain Haaland. Just looking at the graphic, I mean, really, the sides that I'm looking for a double is Man City. But they only has Aston Villa, Arsenal, or later on here we can see they might have Liverpool and West Ham. But beyond that, there's no double game weeks that I can see predicted. And in both those double game weeks, there is a tough fixture in the form of Arsenal and Liverpool. So I'm thinking that this game week with Crystal Palace and Leeds would be smarter to use the triple captainship on Rashford. And then on this double game week 29, I'm thinking that could well be a good week to use the bench boost. If everyone has a double game week on that week, that could be huge, because you're talking, you have 4 players in the bench. If they're all playing, that's an extra 8 fixtures to get points from, and in my mind that's crazy. And then we'll have to look further down the season, and there's also talk of a big double possibly in 34 or 37 according to this. So I mean, I would probably use my free hit then, if I'm not going to use my free hit in one of the blank game weeks. But the hope is that I will be able to use the free hits as a double to create more upside, rather than just trying to avoid, not having playing players on the single game weeks. Because I mean, at least the best players are definitely still playing on the double game weeks, whereas on those blank game weeks, it's a lot of the teams that you want players from that aren't playing. The likes of United and Newcastle. I mean, we all have Shaw and Trippier and Rashford all at the minute. So there's three that, you know, definitely won't be playing game week 25. And right now that don't look likely for game week 28 either. So, I mean, these are all considerations that we need to take into play and just see what way the season pans out. But yeah, as we've been saying, that's what I'm thinking of for this Saturday. And yeah, I'm gonna just set this up now. I'm really confused as to whether to play Mitrovic or Botman. Sometimes I think it's always good to play the attacker, but I feel like West Ham, I mean, with the amount of clean sheets that Newcastle have had, it could be just huge if they get a clean sheet against West Ham and you've two players, two Newcastle players just at the back playing. So yeah, that's my thinking there. Probably will play triple captain, but I'm going to decide probably at the last minute. So if you've enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. I know I've just taken hits upon hits, it seems, recently, but that's just the way it is. Making big gambles to make some gains. My game week rank, our overall rank has went back up to 400,000. I have done horribly until game week 21, and then that game week 21 I managed to get 20,000 places back up, which, I mean, is good, but considering at a stage of the season for a long time I was in the top 20k up until game week 13, and yeah, it was really that error I had. I think it was game week 16, just before Christmas, where I didn't get my transfers done on time. I got really poor points, and yeah, ever since that I've went down the ranks. So looking to change that up, make sure that I keep going up in the rankings and move on from there. So thanks for tuning in. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video, and yeah, peace.